So, Matt, where do you see the Bucks in this new look Eastern Conference, especially if they are willing to make some of these changes on both sides of the ball?
I see Milwaukee as the third or fourth best team in the East. Records aside, I feel like the Nets are going to probably win the East. I like the Sixers in Boston. And Milwaukee is notorious for being great in the regular season, and then they have their playoff problems. If this could be a three-headed monster between Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis, all around 20-plus points a game in the playoffs, I think that may be a recipe for success. But outside of that, he's the two-time MVP. And like you said, in playoff time, you have enough time to study, make adjustments, and teams have found holes and ways to stop him on the offensive end that have had them early exits the last few seasons.
And this is so interesting that Matt describes it this way, Rachel, because over the last 3 years, as I've sought opinions on the Bucks, their numbers have always been fantastic, and the players have not been afraid of them. And here's Matt Barnes, a player, saying, yeah, they look good, but I'm not afraid of them. And that's not going to change until Giannis goes and grabs the series that maybe they shouldn't have and pulls it away, like we've seen the greats do over the years. And that's really what it's going to come down to. I'm going to give the Bucks a lot of latitude here. You made a bunch of great points talking about how they're making experimental changes. They also revamped their entire bench and made a huge change to their starting lineup in trading for Jrue Holiday. And because of that, I'm not really going to seriously evaluate them and their record until we get into the latter stages of the season. I will say that some of their bench moves that I wasn't really excited about have looked okay, including Bobby Portis, who's been playing great recently.
So what do you think, Brian, is the biggest question mark left for the Bucks this year, either from the front office or the coaching staff, in terms of tinkering before the trade deadline?
Well, I'm always thinking about what do you do when you need a couple of baskets in the last 5 minutes of the game. And so right now the Bucks have the number 3 offense in the league. They're actually far back in the defensive standings. They're usually at the top. They're sort of in the middle of the pack in defense. So you say, wow, number 3 offense in the league, that's beastie. That's going to really get it done. And then you pull up the clutch stats, which is, when you see and identify what a team can do in a tight playoff game, and they slide all the way to 16th. And that's what I worry about. And maybe Jrue Holiday, who was great in the playoffs a couple years ago with the Pelicans, maybe he was a difference maker there. But they're 1-3 in games decided by 5 points or less. Small sample size, but that's what's going to be the difference for this team, and that's where we're going to eventually figure out who they are.
Yeah, that's my question too, is who do they go to down the stretch in a playoff game, last 2 minutes when they need a bucket? It hasn't been able to be Giannis yet. Can it be Holiday? It's been Middleton at some point, but they need to have that figure identified. And to me, until we get to the playoffs with this team and see if Holiday can be that or Middleton can be that, or if Giannis is going to be that, people don't fear the deer.
Yeah, well, right now they are number 2 in the Eastern Conference standings, but as Matt points out, the regular season standings have not meant much or as much for this team in recent years, especially in the bubble, so we will see what they do with this. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.